I am back with my weekly budget video. We are looking at the paycheck that my husband received on March 31st. So, even though we are paying April bills with this money and it's all pretty much going into April since we got paid on the very last day of March, I'm still considering this part of March's budget. That's the way that I choose to do things. I go by the day that the paycheck falls on. And if it is in the month of March, then it's considered my March budget. And if the paycheck is in the month of April, it's April's budget. So since we got this on the last day of March, we're going to call this paycheck number 5 for March. That's just the way I've chosen to do it. Because I do a paycheck to paycheck budget, it doesn't really matter. I know that I am paying all of the bills that are happening in the first week of April, but like I said, I'm just considering it March income. So we're calling this paycheck number 5 for March. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. So I am in my Budget by Paycheck workbook from the Budget Mom. I have it punched and put in the back of my big size Happy Planner. And we are wrapping up the month of March today. I'm very excited to see March go. I'm not going to lie. It's been a rough month. It started out so well with us paying off our mortgage and making big money moves. And then, of course, this whole coronavirus hit and things have been very rough. But we're getting through it. Luckily, my husband is still employed. He's still working every day, so we are still getting a regular paycheck. And so, well, for the past couple of weeks, I've kind of put everything on hold and just was sort of holding my breath to see what was going to happen. We're going to start moving forward. We're going to go back to putting money in our sinking funds, and we're going to go back to collecting money for our debt snowball. The only difference now versus the beginning of the month was when I was putting all of this money away for my sinking funds. I was specifically saving for all of these things, and I knew I wasn't going to have to touch it. That might not be the case. I can still pull all of this money out of our regular paychecks and put it into my sinking funds, which I keep in my little accordion folder here. But I don't know for sure that I'm not going to have to dig into this money for an emergency. We decided that we're going to go ahead and continue to fill our sinking funds, but with the knowledge that if my husband ends up sick and can't work, or we have other financial troubles moving forward with the uncertainty of everything, we can easily dig into our sinking funds and use that money in case of an emergency. So hopefully we won't have to do that, but if we do, we'll have it here. So we're going to go back to filling our sinking funds. Also, we're going to be taking money out of each paycheck for our debt snowball, but rather than sending this money directly to our credit card debt, we're going to just hold on to it. It's going to go right into my accordion folder as well, and we're going to have a new envelope called our snowball. And when all of this craziness is behind us and everyone is healthy and we're no longer quarantining and everything, we will send whatever we have collected in that little snowball envelope to our credit card. So that is how we've decided to do our budget moving forward. Everything has been changing so rapidly. I don't know that this is going to be the same, even next week. We might have to change our game plan, but for now that's the game plan. So let's go ahead and get into it. I'm going to zoom you guys in. We'll talk about what the income is and where it's going to go this week. I apologize for the state of my hands. I know that they are not super fun to look at right now. I've been washing my hands 500 times a day, and my hands aren't all that pretty to begin with because I have this one nail that I injured as a child that's sort of deformed. So I apologize for the state of my hands and how terrible they look. Let's try to ignore that and focus on the budget. Let's get into it, guys. Let me zoom you in. All right, so paycheck number 5, the last income for the month of March. We have $1,600 to work with. That is money from my husband's paycheck for the week. It's also rollover money from last week and any other income that we managed to bring in throughout the week. It is a number that I have rounded down. I always estimate my income low and our expenses high. That way we always come out with enough money to cover everything. So that is how I do it. We are paying all of these bills and expenses this week, so let's get into it. First of all, we have our lot rent. My husband and I own our home. It's a mobile home, but we rent the lot that it sits on, so we do have lot rent due. It's the first of the month, so obviously that comes due every month. It's $510. We also have water, which is also due at the first of the month. We actually pay our water with our lot rent. It's a combined total. But while the lot rent is fixed and doesn't really change, the water bill can fluctuate month to month. So I always keep it as a separate line item in my budget, even though it's technically just one check that we are writing for the two of those things. Patreon is coming due. That is $2. Did I even mention what the water bill is? I'm budgeting $45 for our water bill. And actually the bill came in and it's a little bit under that. But like I said, I always like to round my bills up, estimate high. That way we know we're covered. Patreon is $2. I am a patron of a guy that does the local weather. He's pretty accurate, and I am happy to spend my $2 a month to support him so that he can continue doing that. Weight Watchers is due this week, even though I have not been following Weight Watchers at all during this whole quarantine thing. Basically, I have been surviving on snacks and eating my way through everything in my house because, I don't know, I guess that's just how I cope. But I've still kept my Weight Watchers membership, so I'm going to obviously pay it, and that is $20. Netflix is due this week, and that I have budgeted $16. For groceries this week, I budgeted a whopping $150. I have been shopping pretty much every week, even though that hasn't been my intention. The way that things have been going is I will run out of one or two things and decide that I'm going to go ahead and go pick up those couple of things. And if I'm already shopping, I might as well stock up on this and that and the other. And so I've been doing a big shop every week. And also I have been having to buy some more expensive items because that's the only thing on the shelf. So not only have I been shopping every week, which wasn't originally my intention, I've also been spending more every week than I intended. So I've decided to just embrace that and know that that is how it's going to be for a little while. And I've budgeted $150. That way we are covered. We can get everything we need. Obviously my kids are home. They are not in school where they used to get a school lunch every day. And so we're eating a lot more than we typically would. And of course there's the constant raiding of the snack cabinet. So $150 for groceries this week. For gas, I have budgeted $50. I always budget $50. I actually did not touch my gas budget at all last week because we haven't been going anywhere. Literally the only place that my personal vehicles are going to is to the grocery store once a week. My husband drives a company truck and his gas is paid through that. So to get back and forth to work every day, he doesn't use our personal vehicles. He uses a company vehicle, so we don't have to worry about gas for that. So literally the only gas that we are putting in week to week is just back and forth to the one grocery store. But I still budget $50 just because that's what I always budget and it's habit. So there's that. For household, we budget $30 a week. Our campground payment is $60. Also, our campground electricity is due. So not only do we pay an annual fee for our camper to stay at our campground, but we also pay for electric service out there. And that came due. It doesn't happen every month. They wait until it builds up to $50 and then they send us a bill. So this is an irregular expense. It's probably something that I should do a sinking fund for, and I will think about that in the future. But for now, it's due this week or this month. They sent us a bill for $52 and change, so I budgeted $55 for that. And lastly, for my bills and expenses this week, I have EveryPlate, which is a meal kit delivery service that we've been using for a while now. We really enjoy it. I do have a link down below for everyplate, but I believe that they have put a hold on their referral service for right now because they are having a hard time getting supplies and stuff with everything going on, so they're not welcoming new customers right now. I think you can still sign up for everyplate, but you can't do any discounts, I think is the way it's working. I'm not 100% sure. I just know that I had someone reach out to me that said they tried to sign up through my link and couldn't because it said that it was expired, and everyplate said that they have just closed down their referral system right now. So I don't really know if you can get and sign up for everyplate right now, but check it out if you can. It's a really great thing. They send you all of your fresh ingredients and recipes, and you can make your own meals. I did have some credits. It's not typically only $9. It's quite a bit more than that, but I did have some credits. So I was able to get my everyplate the box this week just for the shipping, the cost of shipping, which is $8.99. So hopefully that makes sense. So when you add up all of my bills and expenses for the week, it's a total of $947, as you can see there. And so we take that $947 and we subtract it from the income total, which is $1,600, and we're left with $653 to take down to our next category, which is our cash envelopes. So this hasn't really changed from last week. We still aren't doing a ton of cash for cash envelopes. Other than my husband getting spending money, everything else we're kind of putting on hold. We're not doing any sort of eating out right now. We are taking our social distancing very seriously. Like I said, only going out once a week for groceries. We're not trying to put ourselves or anyone else at risk for this coronavirus thing. We are trying really hard to just keep to ourselves, and that includes eating out. So we're cooking all our meals at home, which is another reason why our grocery budget has gone up a little bit. So we don't need any cash for eating out. I don't need any spending money since I am not going anywhere. There's no need to spend any money. I might, moving forward in upcoming weeks, add a line item for spending money for myself under bills and have that just in case I want to do online shopping. But for now, I'm not doing any shopping, so I don't need any money. And I don't need any miscellaneous money either. So the only thing we have going on for cash envelopes is $40. That's for my husband. He is still working every day. He's considered essential. So, you know, when he's away from home and he wants to grab a quick bite or whatever, he can do that with his money. But he's the only one that's doing any sort of eating out whatsoever. That also covers anything else that he needs if he needs to get a drink or whatever. So $40 for that. So our envelope total is $40. We subtract that 40 from that 653 that we brought to this category, and that leaves us with 613 to take to sinking funds. So sinking funds, I beefed up quite a bit this week because we skipped over sinking funds the last couple of weeks. There's a couple of categories I wanted to just add a little bit of extra money to since we haven't been. Hopefully that makes sense. And like I said, we'll put this money into our sinking fund envelope, but if we decide that we need it for other more important things like paying bills because work gets slow or whatever, we can always dig into that money and use it for that. So this is just money that we are setting aside for future expenses. That's what sinking funds are, really. With the idea that, you know, if we need it for an emergency, we will take it. We do have an emergency fund. We also have a checking account cushion, but these are uncertain times. We don't really know what's going to happen. So that's what we've decided. So we have that $613, and here's how I've allocated some of that. So for Amazon Prime, we're going to put aside $10. Our Amazon Prime membership is not due until March of 2021, so we have plenty of time, but we're just going to kind of get started on saving towards that. For anniversary, we are going to put away $25. So our anniversary was actually the day that we got paid, March 31st. We had saved $100 to go out to a nice restaurant to celebrate our anniversary. But we obviously aren't eating out right now, so we decided to take that money and use it for other things. We put some extra groceries in the house and a few other little odds and ends. And we decided we're just going to sell it. We just celebrated our anniversary at home. You know, we're going to do a steak dinner this weekend to celebrate it because my husband's on call anyway, so he was actually working for our anniversary. We'll just have a steak dinner here at home and celebrate that way. It's 14 years of marriage. It's worth celebrating, but it's hard right now. So we took that money and spent it on other things, but we're now building up our anniversary fund for next year. Next year, hopefully we can do something really special for our 15th anniversary, so we're starting to save now. So $25 to our anniversary. For car tags and maintenance, we're going to do $50. We just bought my son a car. It is a 2004 Saturn Ion, so it's quite old. I imagine we're going to need to maintain it. You know, older cars need more things. So I want to start beefing up our car maintenance fund. And also, we haven't put money in car maintenance in the last couple of weeks. So typically I would put like $20 or $25, but we're going to add $50. We're going to do the same with Christmas because we haven't saved the last couple of weeks for Christmas. So we're going to put $50 in our Christmas fund. And we're also going to put $50 in our holidays fund. So holidays covers all of the holidays essentially that aren't Christmas. So we put money aside in there for Easter, Thanksgiving, 4th of July, that sort of thing. Easter's coming up. And because we are all stuck at home and we're not going to be able to celebrate Easter the same way that we typically would, we're probably going to get the kids each a new video game and maybe a couple of board games, something that they can do while they're at home isolating. So we're going to be spending a little bit more on Easter this year than we typically would, I think. Video games are quite expensive nowadays, so we want to beef up that fund a little bit so that we're not having to swipe a credit card to do that. So $50 into that holidays fund. Property taxes, we're going to add $10. Pets, we're going to add $20. School expenses. So because school has been closed the last few weeks, and I anticipate that they're going to be closed the rest of the year, our governor has not yet announced that. She is set to make an announcement on Thursday, so I imagine that's what that announcement's going to be. I could be wrong, but I imagine that they're going to cancel school the rest of the year, which means that a lot of our school expenses that we were planning on won't come to fruition. Things like prom, things like, spring pictures, stuff like that. So, we have money set aside for those things. We may not have to use it. And it's sad. It's a sad feeling to think that we're not going to have to use that money for all of those things. But there's always next year. So we're going to continue to save for school expenses and we'll just kind of see what happens. Vacation, we're going to put $25 away. Hopefully we can still take all of our camping trips and stuff this summer that we plan on. That's all up in the air. We don't know, but we're going to continue to save for it as if it's definitely happening. And then home insurance. We just paid off our mortgage, so we no longer have our insurance for our home in an escrow account. So we need to start saving for that on our own. So we have made a sinking fund for that, and we're going to put $60 into that. So our total for sinking funds this week is $325. It's a little bit more than I typically put away, but like I said, with circumstances being what they are, that's what we've decided to do this week. And so we take that $613 that we had left over, we subtract that $325 that we just allocated, and that leaves us with $288, and we will take that down to extra debt. So for the past couple of weeks, we have been in storm mode, and we have been holding on to every single nickel that we have in case of emergency. But we can only do that for so long, right? We still want to be trying to make headway with our debt payoff plan. And so what we have decided to do moving forward for our debt snowball is collect that money that we would have sent to a credit card and rather than just immediately sending it to the credit card so it's gone, we're just going to hold on to it. And that way we have it set aside to pay our credit card in a situation where we are able to do so. And if an emergency comes up, we will take that money from there and use it for the emergency instead. So it's our typical debt snowball. It's $112 a week. So we're going to go ahead and take that out in cash and set it aside for now. And then hopefully when all of this is said and done, sooner rather than later, we'll be able to send that right to our credit card company. So that is $112. We subtract that $112 from $288, and that leaves us with $176, which we're going to take into our extra savings category. So we're finishing up our March savings. It's the last paycheck of March, so that's the last of the March savings. We'll be moving into April savings next week, which is exciting. For March savings this week, I'm putting aside $50. If you're not familiar, I follow the Budget Mom 2020 Savings Challenge course. I paid $10 and that gave me access to all of the savings challenges. There's 2 new challenges for every month, as well as a ton of printables, and access to a private Facebook group where other people who are doing the savings challenges can kind of congregate and discuss their saving strategies and whatnot. So, every month it's a different challenge, and so with that, every week it's a different amount that you save based on the challenge. So this week we are saving $50 for March and wrapping up that. And then Savopoly is a printable savings challenge that I found on memotherandI.com. It's like a Monopoly board. I will show it to you guys probably when I do my April budget setup. But essentially you just roll a dice, and I use an app on my phone to roll. You go around the board, and what space you land on indicates how much money you save that week. So it's really fun, and it's just another way to save some extra money. So for Savopoly, we're going to do $21 this week. So that means that my extra savings is a total of $71. I had $176. So we subtract that 71, and that leaves us with $105 left over, and that amount I am just going to roll over into next week. My husband is paid based on commission. His paychecks fluctuate. We don't know what to expect week to week. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. And so to make sure that we have all of our bills covered, I always try to roll over a little bit of money week to week. That way we are good to go. So that is a look at my budget, and now we can get into the fun part, which is stuffing the cash envelopes. I've missed doing this. We got a whole lot of cash to work with this week, so let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, you guys, so I have my little accordion folder here. I purchased this from Amazon, and this is where I keep all of my cash. So this is sinking funds, this is our savings challenges. Everything is separated by category, and it gets a little tab here so you can see Christmas there. And I just go through and add cash every week to these categories so that we have it when these expenses come up. So I'm going to pull this open here so that we can start stuffing our envelopes. I do have my cash here that I got out of the bank. And like I said, we're dealing with a little bit more than usual, so this should be fun. Alright, so the very first category that I have is Amazon Prime. So I just go into my little accordion folder here and find the Amazon Prime tab. Behind that tab is the money, as well as a little index card where I keep track of how much money is going in and out of that little account, I guess we'll call it an account. So in my Amazon Prime fund here, I currently have $14. When I paid my Amazon Prime membership the last time, I had a few dollars left over. Since then, I've saved a little bit more. The Amazon Prime membership is about $120 a year, so that's sort of what we're aiming for. And today we are going to add $10. So we'll put 31st. we will add $10, and that is going to give us a total of $24. So then I will go into my stack of cash here and pull out a 10. And we will add that in to my fund here. And then I always like to count the money as well and make sure that I have what I think I'm supposed to have. So we'll do that really quick. 10, 20, 21, 22, 23, $24. So we are good to go there. Then this will go right back behind the Amazon Prime tab. Next we have my anniversary. So, like I said, my anniversary fund is currently sitting at 0. It's empty. But we're going to add $25 today. So that's a 20 and a 5. So we have $25 towards next year. I don't know exactly how much I'm saving for next year. I haven't really decided. We're just gonna, for now, add some money in, and when it gets a little bit closer and we figure out exactly what we're going to do to celebrate next year, then I will create a final goal amount. But for now, we're just gonna add some money in. So that's $25 for our anniversary. Next up is car tags and maintenance. So we currently in that fund have, focus camera, there you go, $204, and we are going to add $50. So we're going to add a 50, and that should mean that we have $254. So let's go ahead and add that in there, and we'll count it up and make sure. 150, 60, 70, 80, 90, 200, 220, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54. $254. So that's accurate. We'll go ahead and stick this back behind the car tags and maintenance tab. Next we have Christmas. So Christmas I keep in this envelope that I got from the Budget Mom. This was one of the printables that came with the 2020 Savings Challenge course. So I just keep this envelope in there. I currently have $300, and we're going to add $50 today. So I went at one point in the last week or two and took all of my smaller bills and traded them in for larger bills. So we have $300 in there currently, plus that $50 I just added is $350. So I'm going to stick that in there and write this down. We have what we think we're supposed to have, so we are good to go with Christmas. Obviously, Christmas is still a ways away, but we are already well on our way to saving that $1,000 that I have planned for Christmas. Yeah, $1,000 savings goal. Sorry, you guys, I just had a brain fart. All right, next up is holidays. So in our holidays fund, we currently have $97, so almost $100. We typically, for Easter baskets, spend about $60 for the two boys. But like I said, video games are so expensive nowadays. I think video games are like $60 each. So obviously we needed to beef this up a little bit. So I added another $50 to holidays, and that'll get us up a little bit closer to what we need. We're going to get them some candy as well, provided I can get my hands on some. This should be $147 if my math is accurate. And you guys have seen how terrible I am at math, so it may not be. We'll see. 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 110, 130, 140, 45, 46, 47. There we go. have what I said was gonna have. That's good news. This will go back behind the holidays tab, and we will be able to get their video games or whatever it is that we decide on for Easter. All right, next up is home insurance. So next up we have home insurance. We are going to add $60 to that. Next up we have property taxes. So far in our property tax fund we have $34, and we are going to add another $10, and that will get us a total of $44 in our property taxes fund. So we're going to add in a 10. And go ahead and count this up really quick. 10, 20, 30, 40, 41, 42, 43, $44. So that's that. Stick this back behind the property tax tab. Next is pets. So we currently have a very puny little $20 in our pets fund, but it'll add up quickly. So we are going to add another $10 in there today. Am I right? Nope, $20. So we're gonna add another 20, and that's gonna bring us up to 40. And this particular fund is just for any vet visits we need to make, that sort of thing. I have 2 cats, Sirius and Jax, so we definitely want to have some money set aside for them. This doesn't buy their pet food or anything. We include that in our grocery budget, but this is just for, like I said, vet bills or any other unexpected expenses. So that's that. Next we have school expenses. And in our school expenses envelope, we currently have $170. We are going to add another $25 today. So that should mean $195 in this fund. So we're going to add a 20 and a 5. We'll go ahead and count this up. 100, 50, 60, 70, 80, 95. So there's that. Next up, we have vacation. Currently in our vacation fund, we've got 300, oh my gosh, this camera will not focus. Sorry, you guys. $375. We're adding another 25 today, which will put it up to 400. $20 and a 5. And we will go ahead and count this up. $50, $100, $50, $200, $20, $40, $60, $80, $300, $20, $40, $60, $80, $85, $90, $95, $400. And that was it for our sinking funds. Now we're going to move into our extra debt. So I don't actually have an envelope currently for our debt snowball because typically we just pay that right out, but I need to make a little label for this since we are holding on to the cash for now, just in case we need it. So let me grab my label maker. Ugh. All right, this is my little label maker from Dymo. I love this label maker. We're just gonna turn it on and create a little tab for our debt snowball. So there we have it. I'm just going to stick this on one of my little tabs in my accordion folder. Which I have off camera here. All the way in the back. I'm also going to pull a little index card so we can keep track of everything. So we will label this debt snowball. And we are going to add $112. So 100, 10, 11, 12. And we will just hold on to this for as long as we need to till we know we are in the clear and this whole coronavirus thing is behind us. And then this can go to a credit card. So that is that. All right, next we are moving into our extra savings. So our March savings, we are going to finish up today. So I have my little March savings envelope here. Let me zoom you guys back in so you can see. And we currently have $122 in this fund, and we're going to add another $50 today. And that's going to wrap up our March savings. Very exciting. Should mean we saved a total of $172 in March, if my math is accurate. So essentially what I do with this money is I just hold on to it until I have a purpose for it. And when I come up with a purpose for it, that's when I use it. So this could go towards extra debt. It could go towards something fun. It just depends. This is just money I'm saving just to have extra. There's no actual purpose set aside for it right now. With January and February savings, I used it to buy a new sofa. So it just depends on what my needs are and what our wants are. No purpose for this money just yet, so we're just going to keep on holding on to it until we come up with one. So let's count this up and make sure I have what I think I'm supposed to have. I'm just going to finagle this so that I have a 50 and a 10 together because it's so much easier to count that way. So we have 50, 60, 80, 100, 20, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72. So $172. We will just keep this in its little envelope and put it back behind my monthly savings tab, and we'll save it for a rainy day. And the same goes with my Savopoly money. It's just, again, some extra savings. So for Savopoly, I have $64, and we are going to add 21 more today. Which should mean we have $85. So $21, and that's exactly what I have left from my bank envelope, which means that I did all of my math accurately, which is great. I have ended up with extra money at the end and not enough money at the end because I've made mistakes. So when everything evens out, I know that I did my math correctly, which is great. Let's just count this up really quick. 20, 40, 50, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85. Woohoo! Love it when all my math works out. Alright, you guys, so that is it for all of the cash. I'm gonna go and wash these dirty hands now, and then I will be back to wrap this video up. Alright, you guys, well that is it for my weekly budget. I hope that you enjoyed it, and hopefully you get why we have decided to go back to filling our sinking funds and collecting our debt snowball and trying to get our budget back on track with business as usual. I hope that you are all well and staying healthy. Hopefully this coronavirus thing will be behind us sooner rather than later. I say this every week, but I'm hopeful. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up so that I know. Also, let me know, what do you guys think about in future budgeting videos, separating things and doing one video on my budget overview and then a second video to show the cash envelope stuffing. I know these videos are really long. Some of you really like the longer videos, but I know that it can be tedious to sit and watch for 45 minutes. So if you would be into the idea of me separating things and doing 2 videos a week on my budget instead of just one, let me know. Or if you would hate that idea, let me know. Give me some feedback down below. I contemplated splitting this up into 2 videos because I had so much cash to work with this week, and I know that this video got long, but I want to get your feedback first before I do that. So let me know what the consensus is down below. I'd love to hear from you. Any other comments or questions that you have are welcome as well, of course. I love interacting with you guys in the comments, so please don't hesitate to comment down below. Alright guys, that's gonna do it. Thank you so much for watching, like I said, and I will see you next time. Bye!